Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. And we already know we've pre-moved this entire conversation topic, because I've been putting it off for like a few days because I keep recording really late. I mean, I still recorded kind of late today, but that's not the point. The point is, we're here to talk about Tokyo Disneyland. I suppose Disneyland in general. I don't actually know if I've spoken about Disneyland in general before. That's a good question. Why don't we have a look-see? But good evening, everyone. I'm here with a late-night broadcast. Hope we can make it through this. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 12:13 AM on what should be Monday, June 1st, 2026. Happy 1st. Let's see. Disneyland. Surprisingly, I haven't. I guess that makes sense, because the last time I've been to Disneyland was before I did Animal Crossing daily vlogs. So, I guess this is my moment of infamous words of Rebecca Black. What are we being called about? Do we sell stuff? I don't remember. Oh, it's Harvey. It's at Biaquaz. It's recent Cyrus's wedding photos. But yeah. So Tokyo Disneyland. I have often said how much I enjoy Disney as a creative company, and then how much do I enjoy them as a business? Not I suppose to the same extent, shall we say. There's almost like it's weird to say, to comment on, because it almost feels strange, but anyway, I'm not here to comment about that. What I am here to talk about, I suppose, is rather than from a business sense, as from a creative sense, because as part of a trip of Japan, it was actually very strange this time. But like one of the first things we did, the first full day, basically went to Tokyo Disneyland. No, the second full day, sorry, went to Tokyo Disneyland. Not all of us, it was just 3 of us, and then the other 4 went to, I can't remember, I think it's Enoshima. Is what it's called, but it's like a sort of naturey place south of Tokyo, as I understand it. Yeah, we had a split itinerary, and I for sure was always going to choose Disneyland because I love Disneyland, and I think it's hard to necessarily say exactly why. I mean, obviously I do like Disney properties, and you might be like, oh, because you love animation, and I mean Disney are quite very much titans in the animation industry. Like undisputably so. Like I mean, subjectively you can say whether they're your favourite animation studio, etc, etc. But certainly they've done a lot of things to revolutionise animation. I mean, I think the thing that was always most eye-opening for me is how many of the movies have just sort of like them being the animators being like, yeah, we kind of wanted to experiment with a new way to animate XYZ thing, so we made a whole movie about it. Or some way. I don't actually know if that's how it came about, but that's what we focus on. Like Frozen being about snow, Encanto being about how like fabrics move. I can't remember the others, to be honest. Moana's water, right? And it's always very, very fascinating to see. But anyway, so yes, I like Disney. And there's something which I particularly enjoy about Disneyland, in general, because I like it a lot. Like, do I think would I consider myself a Disney adult? I don't know. It depends if you have a negative connotation or not, to be honest, with it. Because I don't think I would be obsessed to the point where it's like, okay, it's a defining character. Well, defines my life. It is certainly something I enjoy a lot, but seeing as there's no Disneyland near me, I don't think it really defines me anymore. But I will fully admit, I buy a lot of stuff from Disneyland, and I fully enjoy it, probably more than the average adult. Whether that fits your definitions, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you, because I don't really care about what labels we're using. The long and short of it is that I enjoy Disneyland quite a lot, because I don't know, I think the way I'd encapsulate it is it feels like, in some ways, like a reclamation. Not a reclamation, that's a bit much, but a way of reliving, reclaiming, getting in touch with my inner child once again. I'm someone in real life, I see myself as a reasonably serious person, with type, as a child being like too mature for my age or whatever, and I think Disneyland is a sort of one is a thing which appeals very much to me as both an adult and as a child in a way. Like if adult me appreciates like how much detail Disneyland has. Like Disneyland is so incredibly engineered and crafted to make sure that it is like the magical place on earth, right? You know, from the designs of everything, exactly how all the operations move, how everyone behaves and acts, to make sure it conveys this very sort of otherworldly, fantastical, magical feeling, which I very much appreciate from the sense that, like, if I had a creative force, I suppose, and I created things like media properties, I suppose, on the same level that Disney had, wouldn't it be genuinely incredible to be able to make something like Disneyland, be like, okay, here's like a literal area where all of the media properties you ever made or have been a part of are now encapsulated and literally kind of like brought to life. And also, the adult me very much appreciates how often they have events and the aesthetics there are of the events, because I think, like, I could see myself having so much fun basically coming up with ideas for these events, you know. Like, for example, in this Tokyo Disneyland, the current event is like a sweets paradise, based off Vanellope's Sugar Rush, I suppose, from Wreck-It Ralph. But I think it would be so much fun to come up with like these aesthetics, being like, okay, what's a seasonal theme going to be? You know, what outfits and costumes are you know, what do they call the Spectacular Six or whatever, gonna wear? What are they called? Mickey and Gang. Spectacular Six? I don't think it's Spectacular, something like that. I just saw that a Sensational Six, that's it. I don't know how true that is, I just saw that random on Disney Wiki and I was like, well, okay, sure. But like, what outfits are Sensational Six gonna wear? Be like, okay, obviously, you know, Mickey and Minnie will have the most straightforward outfits which encapsulate the base concepts of the idea. It's just an excuse what they did to talk about fashion again. So Mickey always has a very clean suit, obviously, with the main colour scheme going on, and then Minnie has an equivalent sort of dress. And then she often has a very sort of like A-line puppy dress with shoulder bordering and pads or something, but then you can get a little bit more interesting, you know, you can get to Donald and Daisy and you can do something a bit more extreme, you know. Donald often always, like, they often also have kind of like suits, to be honest, and a lot of the male characters have a very similar sort of style of suits, but when you have Chip and Dale, I suppose, you can have something a bit more fun and interesting because they are much more youthful characters who don't necessarily need the rigid formality of, I suppose, of a suit. And Daisy, of course, doesn't have the same silhouette that Minnie Mouse does. She doesn't need like these big shoulder pads or necessarily the A-line dress, so maybe you could do something like a sleeveless top or something. Goofy being a much taller build means it's sort of like, well, how do you take advantage of that? Well, you can have like a long-tailed like suit or something like that, or you can have something which sort of remixes upon the generic waistcoat. It's very fascinating to think about, obviously, because, you know, they're all mascots in their own right. They all have their like own sort of predetermined like stylistic designs, I think. That's what I mean. It's sort of like, it's designing, like a creative design, but also within the scope of like the business side as well, like, you know, mascot imagery. I don't know. It's like a weird puzzle. It's like a creative puzzle, which maybe appeals to me also because I suppose my reality doesn't depend on it, so it's fun as a thought experiment. But then it's also like, oh, you know, what other sort of like obscure Disney characters are we going to bring in? This time it's going to be Vanellope and all the characters from Sugar Rush, I suppose. Saying that, I only saw Vanellope, mind you, so I don't know if the others were there. And then be like, well, who else is like vaguely Candy related who we can sort of bring in as support? I can't remember who they did bring in as support, to be honest. I think Alice was there, like from Alice in Wonderland, because of like a tea party sort of thing going on. But you can do other stuff like that, and it's like, wow, what fun. And yeah, Disneyland has all these very magical sort of things. You know, everything is sort of like so perfectly themed, and it's to the extent where I think I appreciate it, because I'm just like, wow, respect. Because they have like a burger chain where when the first time I went there they had like Mickey Mouse themed burgers, so like all the burgers were literally Mickey Mouse shaped, so like had the base part and then like with two ears sticking out the top, which I was just like, this is so like over the top, but like they have a theme and they're committing so hard to it, but I'm like, gotta respect it. This time when we went, they had Baymax burgers instead, so they had like a white steamed bao bun sort of like burger, and then had like teriyaki chicken on the inside. Why Baymax? I don't know. He was just the flavour of the month of character which was chosen, because Big Hero 6 featured in one of the the global the dance around the globe performances or something, and that's it. That's what makes it so fascinating, I think. Like they have a massive oeuvre of Disney properties to draw upon, and they can just like pick one and like you're the star of the season or whatever, and everything is sort of perfectly engineered around it to create not only merchandise products but also like stuff in the park as well to sort of facilitate it. And yeah, well, I think definitely one of my favourite parts of it is not only like these seasonal themings but also like the performances which go on. Like we watched one performance which was like a Mickey's musical something tour or something, I don't remember. Basically they have a music box which they fix and they go around to different worlds and it plays their music, and there was like a little like sort of song and dance about it. I always find it very fun, very theatrical, the theatre kid in me enjoying those. But there's other ones as well, like there's a dance around the globe which is an outside stage one which we didn't see, but actually maybe that was in Disney, that might have been Disney Sea, I can't remember. But yeah, there's the main performance of course with the Sweets Paradise Parade, which I would say is the only song from Japan which got stuck in my head for the entirety of the holiday. It goes, reach up for the sky, get that sugar high. And I can't remember how the rest of it goes. We're going sweets paradise, something, sweets paradise, sweets paradise. And there's a part where it goes, gummy, 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 yummy, 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 we love sweets. Yeah, and part goes, Okashi wa saiko, Okashi wa saiko, Okashi wa muteki, Okashi wa muteki, Okashi no toriko, Okashi no toriko. And I can't remember how it ends, but I don't know. It's just, if you don't know what this is, it's basically they have like a literal like float parade which happens like 3 or 4 times a day or something, which is probably kind of crazy. I wonder how many people are working at Disneyland like in a given day. But it's like a 20-minute parade or something, which sort of goes around in like the entire park. Well, 20 minutes if you stay in one place. I guess if you follow it, it's probably longer. Where they have this 20-minute sort of like loop of a performance they do, where they have all these characters on the float parades, and there's like actual like parade dancers doing performances. And my favourite part is of course looking at all the different costumes they had, and just sort of like observing them. I can't really remember them very well now. Like I should have taken like a video or something, but I remember them having like 10 different outfits just for like the backup dancers, and I remember each one coming on and me being like, oh interesting, like how they did this XYZ to try and sort of tie it in with this character, or just like experimented with something new here. Is this something which most other people don't care about? Yes. Is this something I care about? Also yes. I don't know, I just think it's fun to see and sort of reflect and judge in a certain way what we have and what we've done, you know? But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, Disney's merchandise game is also like absolutely insane. Like they have so many stores everywhere. Like the days we went, actually later on we went to Tokyo Disney Sea, which I guess I'll talk about that on a different day. But the main day we went on was Tokyo Disneyland. It was on a weekday, which I would highly recommend you go on a weekday, especially if you're on holiday there, because otherwise it is insanely busy. And the queues aren't even the worst part when it's insanely busy. Like they are pretty bad, but you can get fast passes and stuff, which if you're already spending a little, you might as well spend a lot, I suppose. But the annoying part is like when the stores are like so jam-packed full of people. So I remember when I first went like a decade ago, like we went on a weekday and it was actually pretty empty. Like there was barely any queues. Like we went to get food, basically no queue. Like, it's just so insane when it's on a weekend. But yeah, their merchandise game is crazy because it's like, almost like so many Disney properties have like merch. Like in the main store it will only be like the main pushers or whatever, Sensational 6 plus whoever's the important ones with the seasonal themings. But then they'll also have like smaller ones, like there's a Winnie the Pooh store as well. But if you want specifically Winnie the Pooh characters, it's why I have a Kanga plush somewhere on my shelf. Over there, I don't know where she is. And it's like the only time I've seen a Kanga plush, my favourite character from Winnie the Pooh. And they just randomly have it there. And we have so many like random merchandise of just random things. Like if you love Baymax, then go to Tokyo Disneyland right now. There's so many different Baymax things. Some of the things I definitely like is when they have items which are sort of like practical items, if that makes sense. What I mean by that, it's like things like big bags or something which are just themed around whatever the seasonal push is for that moment. Like I was saying, Tokyo Disney Sea, I know it's not Disneyland, they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, and I kind of love that colour scheme of this like cerulean blue, gold accents, and like a slightly like a rather pale eggshell white sort of colour, all coming together as a colour palette. I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, that's a great colour palette. It feels very sort of retro, is how I describe it. And then they're selling like football jerseys with like a very sort of retro theming. And there's one thing I wanted to set, there's like these big sort of like gym like bags which they were selling. Unfortunately they didn't have them in stock when I bought them, or when I went to try and buy stuff, but I'm just like, stuff like that, I'm just like, that's what I love. You know, I do love the plushies with it, of course, the outfits, of seasonal outfits, that's always fun. I don't really care about the Mickey Mouses, and I don't really care about a lot of the other things, but that's what I get about when you get like the much more practical sort of items, like the bags, or like accessories. Like my go-to handbag is this Minnie Mouse handbag, which they had like a cross collaboration with like a fashion brand, I don't know, or whatever, and they made a handbag, and I've been using it for like a decade. It's that good, because it's just like simplistic, sleek, stylish, you know. That's the sort of thing that I like. Is it a thing everybody likes? No, of course not. And I don't mean to even imply that it should be the case. But I just find Disneyland very enjoyable because of that, because it just, as I say, it basically really captures like a spirit of that like childhood whimsy or imagination, which I feel like I forget about too often. I'm not exactly the type who does a great job of just sort of like sitting there relaxing, you know. I'm very much the type of person like, well, if I have something to do and I can do it, I will do it now, you know. Why would I not do it? Essentially. But I think Disneyland is one of many places that, and also like very naturey places, which allows me to sort of like take a step back and just sort of enjoy it. Because I often get that feeling, I think, when watching the parades, it sort of like sends me back to when I was a child back in Disneyland, and how different things felt like. Because some of my memories from Disneyland are watching like some of these parades, people coming up and people dancing. Like, I have no recollection of the faces or exactly what the theming was, what the parade was. I just remember them waving, and I remember me feeling happy as a child. And the shows, and even things like meet and greets, where the one which sits so distinctly in my head is there was a Winnie the Pooh meet and greet, where I was so scared as a child. I was like 2 or 3 or something, and I was like crying, and we chose our family to like go up. And I was like crying. This is in Disneyland Paris, because I was like so scared and like I didn't know what to do. But Winnie the Pooh, my favourite character of the time, was Tigger. I don't know why necessarily, and he was there, and I just remember walking up and just sort of like hugging his leg, and they were like, okay, do you want to take a photo with like Winnie and Eeyore? And I just was like, I looked at them and I did not let go of Tigger. And I don't know, it's like moments like that where I feel like if I was a parent, which I'm not a parent, it'd make me reflect on, just sort of like absolutely melt my heart to see my child do something like that. To see my child sort of like in maybe like a scary situation or something, but like find solace, but find a haven of some kind in it. I don't know, I feel like I just have so many like positive experiences tied to Disneyland as a child. And I didn't even go very often. I think I only went like once or twice maybe as Disneyland Paris as a child. And just having those memories, and now watching the parade evokes, or watching these shows evokes that sort of feelings. Even though the distinct memories are gone, the vague feelings are still there, and that sort of just encapsulates it in a way which I can't really describe. It's like a nostalgia which I actually properly tap into, rather than a nostalgia or reflection. It's a nostalgia of experience. Anyway, but I also do appreciate how much like meticulous design goes into the entirety of a park. Like, I think it would be really, like, I think I would thoroughly enjoy it if I was like an architect. I was like actually like professional, I suppose, artist, creator or something, working on like creating some of these things for Disney parks. You know, Disney, if you're hiring. I don't know why you would necessarily choose me randomly from this video and absolutely no context of my capabilities. She's saying this. But there was a long period where I was like, maybe I would try and become like an animator, but not like an animator, but like an animation engineer for Disney. Because I remember watching like a very interesting sort of video which covered basically how Disney used like maps and things to sort of further the animation software and stuff. I don't remember very much now, but I found it absolutely fascinating. Obviously, I didn't end up in my industry, but who knows? Life's the longest thing you do. So yeah, I guess I didn't really end up talking about Disneyland all that much. I just ended up just sort of like reflecting upon my own life in a way. But yeah, I mean, long and short, Disneyland was very nice. We went on It's a Small World after all, which was under construction last time I went, and now it's actually properly finished. So that was very nostalgic as well, because I have good nostalgic memories of that. We had my popcorn, and we had a very cute popcorn bucket, which was like an ice cream stall with like a retro Mickey and Minnie on the front. My friend got a Monsters Inc. one, and my other friend got like a Winnie the Pooh honey pot one. I thought that was really cute. Some interesting rides here and there. But yeah, I can't even remember what other rides we did while we were there. I think we only did like some very small random rides rather than the big rides in Disneyland. But yeah, so I'm all about the shows, you know. That's what I'm there for. I'm there to reclaim a childhood memory, which has faded away, but the emotions are still there. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to round this episode up here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. Then I'm across new horizons. I've been your darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see you up again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye bye for now.